Today on Steelers Talk, I am reacting to Bleacher Report's 2025 trade guide for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they have 2 Steelers trade candidates and then 3 players for the Steelers to target on the trade market this year. We'll dive right in here in just a second, but first, predict it for me down there in the comment section. Will the Steelers make a trade in the 2025 offseason? Will Omar Khan get the phones going and con somebody out just like he did the Ryan Poles when it came to the Chase Claypool trade, eventually getting Joey Porter Jr.? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. If yes, if you think Omar Khan does make a trade, which player do you think it's going to be for? So let's start with the trade candidates from the Bleacher Report scouting department here, and they say George Pickens and Minkah Fitzpatrick are the 2 players that the Steelers should consider trading this offseason. All right, so let's take it one at a time here, where Bleacher Report says this about trading George Pickens. He'll only be 24 years old next season, and he's already one of the best deep threats in the league. Many teams would like to add someone with his ability to go up and get 50-50 balls. However, his talent comes with some negative incidences. Yes, he does. That could create frustration with an organization. Then when it comes to Minkah Fitzpatrick, they say Fitzpatrick has been a Pro Bowler 4 times since joining the Steelers in 2019. However, it might be time to get some value out of him, as they could save $8.6 million against the cap by trading him. So listen, man, I said this in our trade candidates video here on Steelers Talk. You can check that video out on our channel if you haven't seen that already. But I'm open to trading both of these guys. All right, I think I had them number 1 and number 2, maybe number 1 and number 3 on my trade candidates list this year, because I think that this is something that kind of makes sense. You're spending too much money on defense. Minkah Fitzpatrick has had a down year this past year. I think there's teams out there that would appreciate his leadership, his savvy in the middle of the defense, and maybe the Steelers can get a pretty decent draft pick for him. And then George Pickens, if somebody like T. Higgins or Devontae Adams wants to come and be the number 1 receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, I think it could make sense to maybe trade George Pickens and get some of his antics out of the Steelers locker room. But if you trade George Pickens, and I can't stress this enough, if you trade Pickens, you have to have a plan. This was the issue last year after trading Deontay Johnson. The Steelers didn't have a plan to address the position, and it ended up biting them in the ass, and they ended up having to put all their eggs in the basket of Brandon Ayuk. Then he ends up signing an extension, and then you're stuck with Van fucking Jefferson as your number 2 receiver for the 2024 campaign. All right, so I don't want that to happen again. If you're going to unload GP, you better have T. Higgins in your hand. You better have Devontae Adams in your hand. You better have Debo. I don't know about Debo. I don't think he's a true replacement, Coop, but you got to have a good number 1 receiver option if you are going to replace George Pickens at that spot. That's all I'm going to say. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Will George Pickens be traded this offseason? Type T for trade, or type K or K if you think he's going to be kept. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Z-Biotics. And while I'm talking about Z-Biotics, let me know what you guys think is going to happen with the George Pickens situation this offseason. And now let's talk a little bit about our friends here at Z-Biotics. And as most of you guys know, I don't drink alcohol, all right? But I certainly work with a lot of people here at Chat Sports that drink on the job. Of course, that makes it sound worse than it actually is. We drink on NFL Sundays, but I'm very thankful to have Z-Biotics pre-alcohol as a resource for my producers here at Steelers Talk so that they can be at their best for me and this show after having some fun the night before. Pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best the next day. So go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head on over to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to Z-Biotics for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. So now the trade candidates that Bleacher Report suggests the Steelers should go target this offseason: cornerback from the Buccaneers, Jamel Dean; defensive tackle and run defender extraordinaire, Grover Stewart; and then wide receiver, Deebo Samuel from the San Francisco 49ers. Let's see what they had to say about Jamel Dean here. Jamel Dean is a veteran cornerback who is still playing at a high level. The Bucs would only want to trade him away for cap reasons, but he would be a great pairing with Joey Porter Jr., who still could use a veteran mentor as he works to clean up his game. And listen, man, if Tampa Bay makes Jamel Dean available, I am absolutely in on this guy. 28 years old, great veteran experience. He's won a Super Bowl before, 6'1", 206 pounds, so he's got some good size. He's got a great man coverage skill set that Dante Jackson never brought to the table here in Pittsburgh. So I think he's a terrific fit with as much man as the Steelers wanted to play last year, and I'm guessing they want to play in the future. And he still has 2 years left on his current contract, and $13 million cap hit for the Steelers next year is honestly not that much. You'd probably have to pay Charvarius Ward or DJ Reed even more than that in free agency this year, and you can make an argument Dean is better than both of those guys. So I think for the right price, in terms of a trade, I'd be down to get a guy like Jamel Dean. Now, it has to be worth it to not go out and get DJ Reed instead in free agency. Like, it has to be, in my opinion, fourth round pick, at the very most a third round pick, but that's honestly a little bit rich for me. An early day 3 pick for a guy like Jamel Dean, a legit number 2 corner that's really great in man coverage, I think would be an excellent addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's great in coverage, and I think that he would be phenomenal to pair with Joey Porter Jr. in the future. Then when it comes to Grover Stewart, this is what they had to say about the Colts nose tackle. The Steelers could have holes to fill on the interior of the defensive line. Cam Hayward is getting up there in age, and Isaiah Loudermilk is a free agent. Grover Stewart is an underrated stalwart for the Colts, but they might want to create the cap savings that come with trading him. So right now, Grover Stewart is 31 years old, so he's not getting any younger, but at 6'4", 314 pounds, he is one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. So if the Steelers are looking, to get a true nose tackle and move Keanu Benton to the 5 technique, which is what I have suggested, I think that Grover Stewart would be perfect for this role. Plus, his cap hit is just 2.51 for the Steelers if they end up trading for him. Sign me up for that. And if you do this, you can send like a 5th round or a 6th round draft pick for a nose tackle here. And, you don't have to spend that draft pick on an unknown entity in the NFL draft and drafting a nose tackle. You get a guy for the next 2 seasons. He is under contract for 2 years, and he's an absolute stud as a veteran. So for a team like the Steelers that are trying to win now, veteran presences at these spots is crucial. Now, obviously, you need to continue to draft new talent and replenish the ranks, but if you're looking for a full-time starter at nose tackle for a team like the Steelers that play base formation, which means all 5 of their on-ball defenders are on the field at the same time, as much as they do, Grover Stewart at nose tackle would be a huge addition for this football team, and it's absolutely one that I would make for the right price. So pick one for me down there in the comments section. Between these 3 players, which one are you trading for? Type JD for Jamel Dean, type GS for Grover Stewart, or type DS for Deebo Samuel Jr. The reason why we didn't talk about Deebo on today's show, guys, is because we've talked about him quite a bit on some past shows. So if you want to check out those shows and my thoughts on Deebo, you guys can check out those shows right here on Steelers Talk. And if you never want to miss any of our great content here on Steelers Talk, you can click that subscribe button right now, turn on that notification bell, and join our family today and join the largest individually run Steelers news community anywhere on the YouTube platform. I greatly appreciate your guys' support. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.